Hello, everyone. My name is Sean. I am the Crypto Smith. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than I'm used to. This one is not really going to be about crypto, but there is a segue from crypto into the topic that I'm going to be covering. And this is going to be a new video series on my channel. Why? Because I enjoy it. I like talking about it. I'm talking about gold and silver as a collectible, as an investment, as a whatever it is you want to call it. And we're going to get into why do I collect silver and gold and why you might want to think about it as well. And we're going to go over many reasons that people do collect, they hoard, they invest in, they do however it is you want to call it. That's what they do with silver and gold. And I'm talking about physical silver and gold, like these silver coins right here. So gold and silver. Now, for this series, when I say gold and silver, I'm going to use the term loosely because I'm mainly talking about silver because that's kind of my station in life at this point. I just don't have the wherewithal to go spend thousands of dollars on gold coins every week, but I do have the money to go spend it on silver coins, which obviously are a lot less, and you do get a lot more for your dollar. In this first video, I want to talk a little bit about gold and why they consider gold the hedge against inflation, right? And I'm sure you've heard that term used many times before, and most people don't really ever think about what does that really mean? How is it really a hedge against inflation? Can you give me a real life example? And yes, I can. Thanks for asking. So I heard this a long time ago, and I just wanted to look it up again and kind of prove it to you out there about gold being a hedge against inflation. Not so much silver, because silver is highly manipulated today. The prices are highly manipulated and keeping artificially low. And I'm going to show you that just a little bit of that at the end. And I'll do videos on why silver is heavily manipulated today. But as far as gold being a hedge against inflation, let's just look at this, right? So the idea is 100 years ago, a $20 gold piece, which was worth $20, could buy you a nice suit, a hat, and shoes, and still have enough money left over to take your girl out for a nice evening. And then the same would hold true today. If it's a hedge against inflation, then gold could do the same thing. That $20 gold piece or 1 ounce of gold, because that's what it was back then, could still do the same thing today. So back here in 1889, that's why I've got this little advertisement out here. This is a very old advertisement from April 27th, 1889. You could buy yourself for $10 an outfit, which had coat, pants, vest, hat, shirt, shoes, suspenders, and socks. Everything you need to go out and take your girl for a night on the town. So if you had yourself a $20 gold piece, which was an ounce of gold at the time, it was worth $20, and you had $20 of paper money, fiat money in your pocket, right? They're both worth exactly the same at the same time. And I can show you right here. Here is a historical gold price from 1883 to 1849, right? It was the same price. And it's essentially $20-ish for about 90 years. So from 1833 all the way up into the early 1920s, it was worth right about $20. So that's 90 years. And this ad was when? This ad was 1889. So in 1889, let's go down to the chart here, right? It was worth $18.93. So roughly $20. That $20 was going to get you all of this here. And you were going to have money left over, obviously, for a nice night on the town, and probably a little extra at the time because, it was only $10. You'd have $10 left over. It would be quite a bit of money at the time. Now, if I go down here and I look at another ad, I see, let's see, here's one here. $15, famous, right? It's worth this is a sale ad from a long time ago. So they're saying for $15, you're going to get this tailored suit, worsted in sacks and cutaway frocks. I don't know what any of that means, but I'm sure it was fancy at the time. Dark and visible plaids, light stripes, the right weight for spring wear, and a great bargain. $15, right? So that's going to give you $5 left over, night on the town with your girl. So I'm just laying the groundwork here. So for $20, you could get all of that the night on the town with a $20 gold piece. And a $20 gold piece is right here. This is it. This is pre-1933. So it's 1906. Liberty Gold Double Eagle. You can buy it from JM Bullion right now for $2,057. Okay, this thing that was worth $20 100 years ago or 200 years ago is worth now over $2,000. So what can you get today? I'm going to guess today for $2,000, you can get yourself a nice suit, a pair of shoes, a hat, still money left over to take your girl out for a night in the town. And when I say girl, I mean maybe you're a girl and you could take your guy out or whatever it is, your significant other. So that does hold true, right? So that it is the hedge against inflation as the dollar drops in value, because that $20 of fiat that you had in your pocket back in 1833, what's it worth today? It's not worth much today at all, right? It's not going to get you anywhere near there. It's not even going to get you a pair of shoes. It's going to get you a pair of socks. That's about it. So you can see that does hold true. It's a hedge against inflation. As inflation rises, the dollar shrinks in value, loses its purchasing power. That ounce of gold, that $20 gold piece, has kept up with cost. So that's my gold story for you today. So hopefully that'll help you kind of work that out in your head about what do they mean a hedge against inflation. That's exactly what they mean. So let's get into silver. And before we start talking about silver, I want to talk about the different reasons why people would hold or invest or stack silver or gold. And I'm just going to talk about silver from now on because that's what I'm into. Why do people stack silver, right? And that's what that's the term people use. The term is used for people who invest in silver, physical silver, and hold it themselves. They're stacking silver, they're stacking gold. So you're considered a stacker. What might be the reasons you would do that? So I'm going to throw out some reasons here. At the end of this, I'm going to tell you why I hold silver myself, physical silver, not ETFs, not paper silver, but actual real silver like this Australian koala that I've got, which is a really cool coin. And over the next videos, I'm going to show you lots of different coins and bars that I have. And here's, of course, you'll recognize this one, easily recognizable, the American Eagle. And that's it here. Let me get you the other side. There you go. There's a 1 ounce American Eagle coin. I've got it in a plastic case just to keep it nice and tidy and neat without the fingerprints all over it. So why do people buy physical silver? Now, one reason could be hedge against inflation. Well, I would suggest with today's market manipulation, it's not really the best hedge against inflation, although it does tend to go up in value. And silver's sitting about $23 right now. I do remember a time when it was $5 or $6, so it does go up in value, and so it's going to help with that. But that's not really a good main reason. You could just be a collector, right? You like nice shiny things, and when you hold a silver coin in your hand, it has some weight to it. I mean, yes, it's an ounce. It's a troy ounce, which is 31.1 grams. But it feels like something, right? It feels important. Like it feels like real money, like it has some value there. So maybe you just like the different designs on them. And there's all sorts of designs, and you can get generic buffaloes or Indian heads, or this is a silver Krugerrand here from South Africa. There's all sorts. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds that you could collect, or you get the really rare coins that you like to collect that are worth money as well. And you get yourself a nice big collection because that's what you enjoy to do. You enjoy looking at them, telling the stories behind them. Another reason is you're just stacking for weight. You just want to get the most weight possible in your silver stack. And so you're just buying the cheapest silver out there because you want to have a huge savings account, maybe towards the end of your life, or maybe when you're retired and you got all of that silver just sitting there and you can sell it off a little at a time as you need it. Or if you don't need it, maybe you just give it to your grandkids or your kids, and maybe they can use it. You could be a prepper stacker. I think it is exactly as it sounds. If you're a prepper and you're stacking silver, why would you do that? Well, you're somebody who maybe has an inherent distrust of the government or our current financial system or society at large, and you think there's going to be what they call an SHTF moment at some point in the future, which is a shit hits the fan, right? Things go awry, society crumbles, maybe there's a attack on the power grid and the power's out for a couple of months. Well, you can't access your money in the bank because there's no power. If you're a crypto holder, you can't get to your crypto, right? It's useless at that point if there's no power for you to end up transferring value to purchase yourself some food or shelter or whatever it is you need. So you have some physical silver or gold on the side, which you can use to barter for food or for shelter or for guns and ammo and whatever it is you think you're going to need to survive. Maybe you're somebody who just wants to diversify your investments in general, and you don't have any specific reason to stack gold or silver. You've got your 401, you've got your stocks and your bonds, maybe some real estate holding, whatever it is. And now you want some actual physical assets that you can hold in your hand just as a diversification strategy for long-term investing. So all of those are great ideas or great reasons to hold silver or gold. But just let's be honest about something right up front. Silver itself is not a great short-term investment. This is not something you're going to purchase today and sell it next week for more money and make money on that investment. That's not what this is designed for. This is American Eagle. This has a high premium. So you have to pay above and beyond what the weight of this silver coin is, which is 1 troy ounce. And 1 troy ounce today is worth like $23.25 or somewhere around there. But you have to pay a premium on this, which could be up to 50%, right? And I know it has been up to 50% on this coin, which is why I don't hold a ton of these because the premium is so high. So now you have to see the silver price hit a higher price in order to cover that premium, because when you sell this, you're not going to get all of that premium back. So that's why silver or gold coins or bullion does not make a good short-term investment. So don't think you're going to run out and buy a bunch of silver coins or gold coins and wait till next month and then sell them and make some money, because that's just not the way it works. That's not what it's designed for. I would suggest they could be a good long-term hold strategy for these, which is what I intend to do. So let's talk about what silver is used for. We know gold primarily is used for a means of value. So we know what gold is primarily used for is 2 things: a store of value, just like they say Bitcoin is, and jewelry. Like those are the 2 main things that gold is used for. Not a lot of use case, but gold doesn't really need a lot of use case to hold that kind of value. Silver, on the other hand, is more abundant. It's also a byproduct of other mining, but it's still rare enough to be worth something. And it's worth a lot in the industrial world, and it is used for electrical, for electronics, photovoltaics, which are solar panels, and that's getting more and more popular as the years go by, and more silver is going to be used for that. Brazing alloys and solders, if you're in an industry where you have to solder copper fittings or whatnot, there is some silver inside that solder. Photography, silver is used heavily inside photography. Jewelry, obviously, silverware, physical investment, just like this, right? Here's a 1 ounce, what is this? An Australian 2021 dragon bar, and I don't know if you can see that here. There's a dragon on the back of it, which I really like dragons, but this is considered a bar. It's just a 1 ounce bar instead of a coin. So just a different type of collectible there. But silver is being used in high volume now throughout the world. And you can see 2021 and 2022 here, total supply of silver, of mined silver, is over 1,004, I believe this is million ounces. And the supply was actually slightly higher in 2021 than what was mined. So they had to dip into the reserves, which there are large reserves for silver in order to satisfy that. In 2022, this latest year, basically the same amount of supply, but the total demand was much, much higher. And there are discussions about, are we running out of silver? Are we going to run into silver sometime soon? And I don't honestly know the answer to that. I do know that we do have a pretty decent amount of silver reserves out there to handle this kind of deficit. So we would need to see many years like this of a deficit in order to dwindle those reserves if we continue the same amount of mining capacity. So it's not really a big concern right now that, any day now that we're going to run out of silver, and silver, my silver is going to be worth way, way more money than it is today. That's not really my concern. I don't think that's going to happen. But these are the things that silver is used for. In future videos, I'm going to go into more in depth on all of these type of industrial uses for silver, because a lot of it can be very fascinating, and a lot of it is not going anywhere, and the demand is only going to increase over time. So real quick, before I tell you why I'm actually holding silver, here is Schiff Gold. Now, this is Peter Schiff, right? He's we could consider it a gold bug, right? He likes gold over Bitcoin, over anything else. COMEX now has 28 paper claims for each physical ounce of registered silver. What does this mean? When I was talking about silver manipulation out there in the market, this is what I'm talking about. And this is only a small part of it. So basically, paper silver is where a dealer has gold or silver bullion, right? And they've got, let's just, for example, say they got 1,000 ounces sitting in the back, and they write IOUs to people who say, hey, I want to buy, or I agree to buy 1,000 ounces in the future. And he says, okay, here you go. Here's a piece of paper that says I owe you 1,000 ounces. And they do that, multiple times. Well, COMEX, which is the commodities exchange, basically it's the trading exchange for precious metals, they have 28 paper claims for each physical ounce of silver. So for that guy who had 1,000 ounces, there are 28,000 paper claims against that 1,000 ounces, right? And so they can short that if they want to move the market down. They can go long on that if they want to move the market up. The manipulation is crazy out there. It sucks and it's not really ideal, but it's just the world we live in. And obviously we have to play that game until that crashes. So basically what would happen is those people who have these paper claims against physical silver, they would come and say, hey, I want my physical silver now. And if everybody did that at once, obviously the system would collapse because the silver doesn't actually exist. So it's kind of a crazy system how that works, but obviously Wall Street's figured out a way to rig that system as well. So why do I actually collect, hoard, stack silver? I'm considered a silver stacker. I like to stack silver. I like to buy and collect silver and hold it. Well, for me, it's really just a savings account, right? It's kind of I don't want to call it a forced savings. So it's like if you purposely have the IRS take extra taxes out of your paycheck every week or every time you get paid, at the end of the year, you're going to get a bigger refund. That's kind of what I would consider a forced savings. You just forced yourself into saving that money. You gave it to Uncle Sam or, your Uncle Joe, and he was able to use that money until you get that money back at the end of the year, and then you get a big check, however much it is, a few $1,000, and voila, that was kind of a savings account. You got your bonus at the end of the year, even though it was your money the whole time. It's not like they're giving you anything for free. You could have used that money all along and maybe used it for different things, but you're not somebody who likes to save money or who finds saving easily. It's an easy way to save some money and get a big chunk at the end of the year. I kind of consider this the same thing where I'm just spending paper dollars and buying physical silver that I hold. And I find it very, very difficult to sell any of this stuff, right? I would have to be in a very dire situation. It would have to be some sort of monumental emergency for me to actually sell any of my silver, right? I plan on holding this until I get very old. And if my old age and I'm retired and actually need something, I have an asset to actually sell and satisfy whatever need that was, or an emergency comes along, I can satisfy that emergency. Or if I don't, I can pass this down to my kids or my grandkids and teach them the ways of the financial world. So that's why I do it. And also in the back of my mind, there's always that small chance that there's going to be that SHTF moment, that happens and the dollar collapses and everything just goes straight to hell. And I have physical assets that I could actually use that are of value that I could trade for certain things that we may need, which is always a nice option to have. And it's always nice and a bit comforting to know that I do have something of value that I could use if I wasn't able to use a paper dollar or wasn't able to use the ATM machine in order to purchase food for my family. So that does go a long way to helping me sleep at night. And that's why I own physical silver. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and it was a little informative to you. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these in the future because I really do enjoy collecting silver or stacking silver. And I do enjoy a lot of the different designs from the sovereign mints and a lot of the generic mints as well. And then the different bars and coins that are out there around the world. I do enjoy the collectability aspect of it as well. And you're going to see some of that in the future. So like and subscribe if you want to see more of this. This is the entire reason I have a channel. And having said that, I'll see you guys next time.